Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Morally Ambiguous podcast, episode 3. Peculiarly, this month I'm with not Emily, but a friend of mine who I lived with a couple of years ago, Tomiki.
Hello, it's a new year and a new co-host. I'm usurping Emily's position by force.
Um, that, by force, I think more by coincidence.
Oh, well, don't ruin it. Nobody knew that Emily couldn't turn up today and I was drafted in the last minute. It's fine.
Yeah, internet's a bitch.
Yeah, definitely is a bitch. Especially at university halls.
Yes. Well, I got the text from Emily last night, and there was just this kind of my heart just kind of jumped momentarily. It's like, oh God, what am I gonna do? I can't get the internet sorted. So yeah, so Tom slash Tamaki, as I know him, is filling in very kindly for me.
The name makes me sound like a massive weeaboo. It's true,
It's
but I
undoubtedly
didn't
true.
want the people to know that.
To it. Yeah, as a bit of backstory for those who are unfamiliar with you. So you and we lived together at university for 2 years.
Yes, it was our second and third year that we lived together. And by live together, I mean I sort of was there during the week.
You were present at times.
Yeah, it was because I worked. It's very weird for a university student to work, I know.
We
I
were
was
the only
away a
one
lot
of
of the
us who
time.
actually made money.
Yeah, I exploited university. That sounds bad. They're going to come after me now. I shouldn't have said that.
With
Scratch that. I didn't
SLC banging
exploit
down your door.
it. It'll be old Cameron looking for his money again. I'll be like, oh, sorry, Mr. Cameron, please.
But yeah, so yeah, we lived together for a couple of years. Prior to that, we had what was it, the weekly movie night.
Yeah, we did. I remember
It
that.
was fun
We
times.
we usually had it at yours because Scarly wouldn't let us into her lovely flat.
I think we tried to sort of alternate it.
We did, yeah. It always ended up with three people awkwardly on a single bed. Like, this is a bit close for comfort, isn't it, guys?
Like we've only known each other for at that time like a few months.
Yeah, you'd bedded me after 2 months, Xander. I'm very upset about that. I'm so
And our
easy.
relationship has never been stronger.
No, it hasn't.
But it's always how we met that I quite enjoyed because it was Scarly that sort of brought the whole group together in a way.
Yeah, we had, was it, what's her name again? Lily? Lily? Was it
Yeah,
Lily? We met Lily, and I'm supposing you stayed in touch with Lily through the first year. She
yes.
disappeared for me, completely miraculously out of nowhere disappeared, popped back up at the end of second year. I was like, I remember you. You probably don't remember me. I remember you. Yeah, but I met Scarly on what's the word? Orienteering day? There we go.
Yeah, because we
I
had
mince
that
my words.
like the media department get together, which was a bit of a flop.
It was literally us three, maybe two other people, and the teachers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I just remember Scarly just kind of coming over and saying, "Hi, I'm Scarly," and you sort of were kind of tagging along at the time, so we all kind of introduced ourselves as of that point.
it's like the lost puppy syndrome, like a duckling. I kind of imprinted on her. She was like the first person who talked to me at university, and I back then I wasn't very confident in my social skills. Now, obviously, I am a bloody god, and we all
Well, your
know that.
course helped with that, I think.
Yeah, I think it did. Also, shifting my mindset as well helped a lot. It sounds like I'm going to start like, have you discovered Jesus?
Believe in yourself.
Definitely. That is the podcast like thing of the month. Believe in yourself and no one else, just yourself. Okay, that's enough self-help. Let's get back to the story. Yeah, we locked eyes. Like, in like novels. I was about to say
Yeah,
romance novels. Definitely not romance novels.
it's
Um,
bromance.
Bromance. We locked eyes. And like the sheepish person I was, I went, please, she looks like she's going to eat me. Help, help. How do I avert my gaze? And she came over and she was lovely and she was kind and nice. And I was like, all right, that's my friend. That's my one friend I need now. She'll make me more friends. And that's how I made Xander my friend
Yeah.
by force.
2 friends on the same day. Good grief. You must have felt really popular.
I doubled my record. And then Sam, Sam's been mentioned on the podcast before, hasn't he?
He has once or twice, yeah. Sam, um, I think became a part of us when I invited him over. I think
And then,
within
then
the
we never let him leave, did we? Me and
it
Scarlett
it wasn't
typing
necessarily
it
that
out.
you let him leave. I think it was more because he lived, well, about like 10 minutes away, and the fact that quite frequently your bed was available, he seldom felt the need to leave.
It was still available when I was in it.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I was very happy just to go, sleep in the bed, Sam. I don't care. Just go for it.
Oh bless him. Well, at that time, that was when he was living with people that he didn't necessarily know/like.
I think it was just more that they didn't talk. They were all just there for their
Well, it was a
sole
house share.
reasons. Yeah. That's the worst thing about university. I was so glad in the first year that I made 2 people, my friends, that I was happily to go, right, I will live with these guys.
Yeah. Who
Very
wa-
happily.
was I the one who invited both of you to live with me?
I think you did, but I had the idea in my mind. I was just not sure how to go about it.
So I kind of took the step for you.
Yeah, I kind of just like sat back and was like, go on, Xander, you do the work for me. I will happily follow you along. I'm such a sheep. It's really bad.
And, I think it's this whole thing like there are the people who prefer to lead and those who prefer to follow.
Yeah, I can understand that completely. I mean, I didn't think I was somebody that's happy to follow, but in all honesty, I am, because I sit back and go, well, somebody else can do the work for me. It's a very lazy mentality. We've had self-help already. I should probably point out like a life lesson. Don't be me. Don't be the guy who doesn't do anything. It doesn't work out for you.
Well, I don't know. I think it has worked out in a
Yeah,
way.
actually, it has. Don't listen to me in any way, because I'll just get it wrong twice.
Take everything Tom says with a pinch of salt.
Lots of salt. Just salt everywhere. You'll have a plate of chips, but all you'll see is salt. That's how you should take every piece of advice I give. But we're getting sort of on a segateur, or whatever the word is.
A segue?
We're not getting on a segue. Perhaps we should get on a segue to move on to the next topic.
Yes. Of which is, we're on episode 3. It's now 2016.
New Year's podcast straight
Yeah,
away.
New Year's. It's a bit unusual considering like normally we'd have Emily here, so people who are familiar with Emily, I would say, oh Emily, what have you been up to over Christmas? But these people don't know you, so I'm going to ask you anyway. What did you get up to over Christmas?
I'm going to say not a lot, really. Christmas is that sort of time that people spend with their family, spend with loved ones. You know, the whole thing that people
Rigmarole.
like. I forgot the word, all right? That's always useful. The stereotype. That's the
Yeah,
word. The stereotypical
like tis the
Christmas.
season.
None of that this year.
No?
I'm not really one for celebrating Christmas. I like the presents, definitely like the presents. But I don't go putting tinsel up or lights up or a Christmas tree. We didn't have a Christmas tree this year.
No, I
That's
have to
how
admit,
bad
I
it's
didn't
got.
really feel it this year either.
I got that from a lot of people, probably because it was warm, didn't
Mm.
snow, and rained a lot.
Yeah, it was uncannily warm.
Yeah, like you hear about global warming, another sort of distraction from the main topic. It is definitely warmer. But back to Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just spent it doing the usual thing. Sadly, now that we've entered adult life with little quotation marks flying around it, people don't give you presents as much. You have to work,
Yeah, particularly in
and
retail.
and you're more looking forward to New Year's, which I was ill on. So great Christmas all round. I did have a good time. I did have a
Speaking of
good time.
which, you were slightly ill yesterday. Are you feeling better now?
I hope a bit. My nose is still blocked up, so if I sound really nasally and blocked up, I
You sound
apologise.
really nasally.
If I sound really nasally, I apologise. But Yeah, no, it's been a good time. How has your Christmas and New Year's been? That's what the viewers really care about. Viewers, listeners,
It
listeners. Unless
it
you're watching the lovely background, we'll put something in the background for you to watch.
was.
That's on you to edit that in now, Xander.
I'm gonna make no promises. Oh God. My Christmas was probably perhaps a very stark contrast to yours. I mean, Christmases with us have always been a very family-oriented affair. Um, I think so helped by the fact that, not only do I live with my mother and sister, but I live next door to my grandparents as well, so it is kind of already this kind of big get-together. And both sides of my family enjoy Christmas very much, so they're very much in the festive mood.
That is a stark contrast. My family aren't a massive. I've got nieces and nephews, so I suppose now is the time for they're young nieces and nephews. Maybe I should say I haven't got like 30-year-old nieces and nephews. I'm not even that old. They probably wouldn't be nieces and nephews. I don't know how it works, but because it's Christmas, it's more about them. And as the last child born, I'm really salty about that. Where I want the attention, I want the presents, I want the Thomas the
It's
Tank
my
Engine
turn.
playset. Yeah, it is. It's my turn. Love me. The desperate plea of a 23-year-old man.
Yeah, yeah. There's kind of the point where like we're sick of adult life already and we're barely into it. Um,
We've
so
got so much more ahead of us.
yeah. So you touched on it before kind of looking forward to New Year's. Did you have like any particular sort of New Year's resolutions? That's age-old question. What is your New Year's resolution if there is one?
I'm always a bit wary about New Year's revolutions. Good,
Revolutions.
good one. Maybe it should be learn to speak English when
Vive
it
la
is your
revolution!
first and yeah, it's your first and only language, and I can just about speak it. Um,
And you want to learn
I,
Japanese.
I don't want to learn Japanese. That's awful. That also adds to the weeaboo. Like he's just learning it because he watches tons of anime and stuff, doesn't he? It's like I'm in it for the cute Japanese girls. All right, fine. We've got that out of the way. I'm a base, disgusting, lust-filled creature. You wanted
and you
that, internet? You can have it.
and you're just missing the
But
neckbeard
oh my
and the
god,
fedora.
please. Oh no, what image have I painted for my this is awful. They've got this image of this really fat, like stubbly bearded guy with a fedora on. I'm nothing like that. I swear, honestly, I don't sit down and just
I can attest
abuse
to that.
people online. I have a big enough ego to be fine with what I am. All right, and that's not a neckbeard. All right, I'm being very serious. But back to the New Year's
Yes. Yeah,
resolution.
your resolution, yeah.
As I said, I'm wary of them. Because I know I'm probably not going to do as well as I hoped. But I am planning maybe to do more exercise
Okay.
because I kind of sit around indoors a lot. All right, okay, neckbeard alert. I sit around indoors a lot. But I think now that I'm a bit older, it's sort of like, well, I'm bored of this. This is all I've kind of done. Maybe I should go out and have a look at nature
Kind of
and
almost do
enjoy
something
the
new.
world. Yeah, definitely. It's always, I always people like, oh, eat less, diet. It's like, okay, they're fine, but they fall through easily. You need to set a
Yeah.
routine. And that's the issue. You got to set a routine. But yeah, exercise more, I think, would be a good New Year's resolution for me. What about yourself, Xander?
Myself, I'd say I've probably got a couple. Um, my main one being probably to get my shit together because, it's been how long now? What,
2 years?
4 months since
Oh.
I resigned from EE.
Oh, I thought you meant university. I was like, yeah, it's
Oh
been
no.
2 years since university. Okay.
Well, no, I have worked since then. But yeah, I'm kind of dubbing this the year that I get my shit together. I get myself a decent job that I can foresee myself doing for a long period of time. I've seen myself, you know, taking the step and getting my own place, maybe moving in with Chris, as he and I plan to do so at some point.
Oh, you're leaving me out. I'm so upset.
I'm sure you'd be more than welcome. I mean, Chris likes you, so.
Oh, I'm in.
And I guess my second resolution is basically what I've been doing for the past few months, which is basically get into some kind of shape that isn't a stick.
For the viewers out there, to paint the mental image, Xander is very thin.
I
I
am
am
very
quite
thin.
a rotund gentleman.
I would say
I'm
you're
not
rotund.
like
I'd say you're well built.
24 stone. I'm not like 24 stone or something. This neckbeard image is just stunning now. I've got to face the facts. Maybe I am. Maybe I should buy a fedora and start
No.
bleeding.
No.
But yeah, it's quite funny because it looks like I could eat him. It definitely looks like I could enjoy eating a bit of Xander. That sounds really, really, really wrong.
So carrying on with the idea of the New Year's resolutions. Obviously, your resolution is something that you kind of want to aim for, obviously, but as a kind of a parallel thing, if there was one thing that you would want to accomplish this year, even if you accomplish nothing else, what would that be? Like, what would be your end game for this year at all costs?
Well, let's have a little backstory.
Ooh, story time.
Yeah, I've never really been one that's had a life goal. I've kind of just aimlessly sat around wondering what I did. After university, you know, when the time you should have a goal is
Oh
in
yeah.
university, I sort of sat down and went, I want, I want to be an artist, but I've never drawn before. And so you sit there and you think, oh, this is a daunting task. This really is. And it is one that is scary, but it's also something that's just motivating me so much.
Yeah.
So even if it is only a tiny bit, like maybe I could draw a tree, I want to be better at drawing. By the end of the year, I want to have seen some substantial growth in my ability to draw.
Yeah, because
And
you
so
were really into that in third year. You were really focused on your art.
yeah, it's a slow progress, definitely a slow progress, and I understand that. But if by the age of 30 I can draw perfect landscapes, great. I've made my goal. I am happy with what I have accomplished in my life, and I'm happy to put the time to the side to do that. Definitely. So if it's only a little bit, by the end of the year, slightly better at drawing. That is what I want to do.
That's not a bad thing. Like it it almost seems like a bit of a waste considering that you've gone through and you've got your broadcast journalism degree
Yeah,
and you
it's
decide
sitting
not
right
to do
next to
anything
me.
with it. You're kind of setting that aside and you're kind of going for something different.
Well, after I finished my degree, I sort of had the realization that I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was. I would have much rather have done a creative writing course like you did yourself, Xander.
Yeah,
I only realized that a bit too late. Never mind, people make mistakes.
absolutely.
What about yourself, Xander? The one thing at the end of the year that you want to go, hey, look, Ma, look, I am better at this now. What would it be, Xander?
That's a tricky one because despite kind of almost seemingly having nothing going for me at the moment, I have a lot going on. So obviously, I'm trying to build up the audience for the YouTube channel. I'm desperately trying to get a job. I'm kind of trying to build some kind of long-term life. I think the thing that I would want to accomplish above all else would be, oh god, that's tricky. Um,
There's so many goals you've set yourself.
yeah, like
It's a
a
bit
part of me would
much.
want to say like have a well-established presence on YouTube or um have maybe have a story published in the literary magazine actually making use of that degree that I spent 3 years doing. Getting a job, I don't know. There's so much, and it's actually kind of hard to pick one when you know I'm attempting to do all three at once.
Well, I don't mean to like butt in and be like, you should do this, but as a suggestion, why don't you try and aim for like 500 subscribers? It's a
It's a realist.
achievable goal.
It's very achievable within a year,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I think maybe we should say we'll get back next year on that 13th, 14th, 15th Morally Ambiguous podcast, and we will hopefully sit down and both say we've reached more than 500 subscribers.
One can hope. One can only hope.
We're going to set that goal now. So that means we actually have to do this for another year, and I will get 500 people to subscribe.
Just do a subscriber drive, just like, subscribe, man.
It's time to subscribe. And maybe if I feel great about my art, I will draw a picture for the background, and we'll put it on the podcast as well.
Awesome.
Sound good? I think that sounds good. That's our promise. That's the Morally Ambiguous promise of the year to you guys.
I'll be sure to note that. come
like,
back in 2017. Have I achieved 500 subscribers? No? Why not?
Why not? We'll have like a cry. We'll have like a minute-long podcast next year if there's only less than 500 subscribers, where we'll both just cry and plead with you. Please.
Crycast.
Well, that's New Year's covered. So what next is on the agenda?
The agenda? The podcast that has no agenda suddenly has an agenda because it's New Year's.
There's more talking points for us to set.
New Year's, new podcast after 2 episodes. So I mean, obviously, both you and I, we're pretty fond of the whole gaming thing, the whole video games culture.
I hope I didn't miss anything important because I disconnected.
Really?
So for the realsies out there, I don't know what Xander just said. So I'm guessing he was talking about video game culture.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Let's go for that one again. So Tamaki, we're both fond of the whole video game thing, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Not cheesy at all.
Nope.
So, out of this year, I'm assuming last year, 2015, you must have played like your fair share of games.
I did actually. The issue is I play a lot of games. I never finish games. I just play a lot of games.
I mean, that's not necessarily important for kind of what I want to ask. So, so long as you've enjoyed the games, obviously that's really what matters.
I think it was more of a prefacing, just so people know where I'm coming from. Play a lot of games, I don't finish a lot of games.
It's like, oh, how can you rank this as this number one if he's only clocked in 10 hours?
Yeah, I know, some people will be like that. So I'm prefacing it now with, yeah, I'm sorry, I have not played very much of it. I've played it, I apologise, please.
So leading into that, what would you say has been your top 5 games of 2015? So not necessarily ones that have been released in 2015, but certainly ones that you've played.
Well, I will start with, I think, for number 5. Because I play it so much, like literally every day, and I'm assuming a lot of people out there will know this, it's League of Legends. We'll have some Dota haters. I like Dota too. I actually prefer Dota. Don't tell Riot. But yeah, League of Legends. I am addicted to League of Legends. Coming out of playing a game like Team Fortress 2 for a long time before I got into TF2 and World of Warcraft before then, I'm the sort of person who likes one game that he can just play a lot and a lot of, and with friends. And League of Legends filled the niche after I finished playing Team Fortress 2. So I will put that as my number 5. I know it came out in 2009. I've been playing it for maybe 3 years now. I'm still rubbish at it, but...
Well, it's one of those games that's very difficult to actually be good at as well.
It's one of those games that you have to put the time in to learn. It is a learning game. Most people think with games there's no such thing as you learn to play a game. You learn to play League. Which is proven by the fact that Switzerland now are doing League of Legends pro gamer courses in schools.
Are you serious? That's a thing that's happening?
I am serious. That is a thing that happened. I think it was in Reddit. It was probably on Reddit. I read it on Reddit at some point. It was quite recent. That surprised me. That's really did.
Crazy.
Bloody Switzerland. Crazy place.
They get all the good stuff.
What about your number 5, Xander?
My number 5, I'm probably gonna I'll probably feel the eyes roll already, but I'm putting number 5 as Minecraft.
I'm rolling my eyes so hard right now. You mean Minecraft, the game that everyone plays?
Absolutely. Like, it's not something that I'm really intending to put on my channel, um, but I put it at number 5 for a number of reasons, mostly because while I haven't really put as much time into it in 2015 as I would have liked, um, it it's there because of its sort of flexibility and replayability. Because I play mainly the modded Minecraft, so like Feed the Beast or the Resonant Rise, and it's kind of with those mods, it kind of takes Minecraft and just kind of shoves it into a whole nother, you know, league of its own. But the reason it's at my number 5 is because I like playing games with other people. And
Yes, yes.
to I mean, a lot of my friends, such as yourself, they're busy a lot of the time, so they don't often get the chance to, come and play games with me. But that also means that the games that I think work well as multiplayer, like Minecraft does, I can't I don't have the motivation to play it on my own.
Yeah.
So it's a game that I only have the energy to play if I'm playing with other people. I like the collaborative aspect.
I always found Minecraft difficult for me because I never knew what I actually wanted to do. It's a game that offers you like endless choice and doing anything. You can explore a mountain, you could build a cathedral, you could just about anything. Set up a computer or
Yeah,
something inside Minecraft. It was just too much. My mind was like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. I
yeah.
need some sort of structure. Please help.
Yeah, it's a game that if you don't go in with a specific aim, you just kind of wander aimlessly.
Yeah, it definitely is one of those games that I just found myself for hours on end wandering around. It wasn't a bad experience. I quite enjoyed it, but
Mm.
I wasn't playing Minecraft. I was just experiencing it. And
Yeah.
that's possibly why I lost interest in it, sadly. Also,
Mm.
the oversaturation of Minecraft literally everywhere
Yeah. I think that
kind of.
that's the main reason why I'm not putting it on there is because YouTube in particularly the kind of video game side of YouTube is as you say saturated or
You can't.
oversaturated with Minecraft. You can't go 2 seconds without stumbling across someone's Minecraft playthrough.
To be fair, we've both done very oversaturated games as number 5. League of Legends and Minecraft is probably everywhere. And yeah, we are mainstream scumlords. I apologise.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, guys. Mainstream as fuck.
So, carrying on, what would be your number 4?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I used to play a lot of Team Fortress 2. And I like team-based shooters, and I know on the horizon Overwatch is coming in 2016, and my body is excited for that, Blizzard. Give it to me, please. Um, but Dirty Bomb has been a game that I've played quite a bit of during 2015. That's the year, correct? Yes, we're in 2016.
Yeah.
Yes, it must be 2015. I can't actually remember when it was released. I think it was released last year. It was from a small company that made Brink back in the day. Splash Damage made Brink
Oh
years
god.
ago. It flopped, sadly. Brink was not very popular. I enjoyed Brink. I enjoyed its like parkour elements and stuff, but it was just unbalanced. We saw that issue of Dirty Bomb at some point, and I'm sure the community of Dirty Bomb know we've seen that issue. But I still craved that team shooter element, and Dirty Bomb definitely did it for me. Definitely. The cast was interesting and varied. It was really fun gameplay. It was sort of Twitch shootery gameplay that I just love. And yeah, Dirty Bomb was high up there. I absolutely adored it. I haven't played it enough because the people I played it with lost interest.
Oh god.
And
That's awkward.
it's awkward. I still want to play Dirty Bomb. I just don't like playing a game without someone.
So what
But
was it
Dirty
that set
Bomb,
it back to number 4 then?
um, because there are just stronger games in my list. Definitely stronger games than this. There are games that I played more, and there are definitely games that I enjoyed more in my top 3. They might not necessarily be good games. They could be absolutely shocking games, but they are my top 3 for the year.
That's
But what
fair
about
enough.
you? Let's hear your number 4. You start with Minecraft. We start with League of Legends. Let's see how far down this train we can go.
My number 4 to be Dishonored.
You only played that this year?
Yeah,
Really? Dishonored's really good. I agree with that. It's a great game. But not 2015, so you only played it this year.
yeah. I think I started playing it when I first got it, and that was a couple of years ago now. And I'm god's awful at stealth, so I was very conscious that I was absolutely horrible at the game because I like to go for counter to what the name of the podcast is. I like to take the good approach. People who were listening from the last podcast, I can't be an arsehole in games.
I can
And
be, but that's another topic for another time.
so when it came to Dishonored, where it directly affects the outcome of the game, I really struggled with it. And this last year, I keep saying this year, last year, um, I don't know what got me back into it. I just sort of picked it up and just ran with it again, and I absolutely adored it. I think Warframe sort of helped with a lot of my stealth gameplay, um, to the extent where I actually managed to get the ending that I wanted.
Oh,
Um,
getting the ending that you want is always the most difficult.
yeah, so I put it there, but I think the the reason why it's probably not as high as maybe some people might put it would be because of its very limited replayability. It's replayable. You can like experiment with the different endings, but that's about it.
For a Bethesda game, I think it was ZeniMax and Bethesda that made it. Was it? Am I correct in thinking that?
I believe you are.
I believe I am. For a Bethesda game, people were probably shocked that it wasn't open world, that it was quite a linear game.
It
It
was.
had open world elements, definitely, but it was a very linear point A to point B sort of game. It just wanted to tell you a story, and that's not a bad thing. Definitely
Mm,
not a bad thing.
definitely.
It's just when I came to play Dishonored, it's not what I expected.
Yeah.
I expected the whole Bethesda treatment of an open world, sort of semi-steampunky themed thing. That got me hyped. I love
Oh yeah.
steampunk.
Likewise, yeah.
But I still loved it. It just fell a bit flat with that disappointment. But I definitely still enjoyed Dishonored.
Yeah. And I think as an introduction to the game, it was good because now people know what to expect potentially from the upcoming Dishonored 2.
Yes. Which might be even more open world, but we'll have to discuss that when we look at Dishonored 2.
Oh yes, that I think that's one that I'm definitely going to be playing on this channel is Dishonored 2. Like whether or not it fits in with anything else that I'm playing, I don't particularly care. I want to play it. Leading on from that, what there? English.
Number 3? We go for number 3? Number
3. If I
3.
can remember how to count, number 3.
We're counting backwards. That might be why it's confusing. My number 3 for last year, it's probably not going to... Actually, it might shock people because people might have thought it would be higher on a list of like a general gamers enjoyable games. I haven't finished it, so that's the preface. I haven't
Okay.
finished it. It's a long-ass game. The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt.
I I I'm impressed because I really want to play this game.
I love the Witcher series. I it's such a great dark fantasy. I like steampunk. I love dark fantasy. Love it. Just crave it. The Witcher 3 is great. People always will tout Skyrim as one of the best open world games, and I would say just play The Witcher 3. Just play
Yeah.
The Witcher 3 and tell me that that is not on the same level or even better than Skyrim.
And of course, I love the fact that it's all based around a book and the fact that the company who made the game, I can't remember what they're called, but they have stuck.
CD Projekt, I believe the company is called.
Awesome. Yeah, they've managed to stick so closely to the source material and just flesh it out even more. but I think its downfall is that it's too big.
Definitely. For somebody, as we spoke about adult life, as you get older and you have more things to do and you have more goals in life, you find it a lot harder to finish such big games. Maybe that should have been my goal for the year. Finish The Witcher 3, actually complete it. But it's I like the word daunting, but it is daunting. It's such a dauntingly big game. There's so much to it. They add free stuff to it. There's a big package. I think maybe it's already come out, but there's a big expansion to it as well.
Oh
And I sit
god.
there going, I want to play The Witcher 3. I want to enjoy it, all of its glory. I just want it in me. But it's too big and it won't fit in me. And it's really upsetting that I can't fit all of The Witcher 3 inside of my body. But I
I,
will try. I will definitely try. But there's not much adult fantasy out there like The Witcher 3. There's not a lot of games like The Witcher 3.
yeah, it's
If
very nitty gritty.
there are games of the same genre, but there aren't games that deal with things so morally ambiguous as The
Roll
Witcher
credits.
3. Maybe I should stop name dropping, but it's such a great name that we can use to describe things.
It
I'm
is.
sorry. I'm sorry, guys. But yes, that was my number 3. I've rambled about The Witcher for a little too long now, probably. I've told you that I want it physically inside of me. That's probably too much information. Xander, which game do you want to place inside your body at number 3?
Witcher game. Um,
Oh, God. That's horrible.
um, I would probably say my number 3, and this is probably going to be a slight surprise for you as well, is going to be BioShock, the first one.
We really are playing the old classics in this game, aren't we? BioShock 2007, I
Yeah.
think. I love BioShock. No. Do we even need to explain why BioShock's great? I'm sure people should know.
I'm fairly sure a lot of the people who watch my channel anyway have played BioShock numerous times, but it took me a long time to actually get around to playing it. It actually took me it took for you to leave your games at the apartment for me to actually invest myself in the BioShock series.
Would
Um,
you kindly just play the game, Xander?
because you left BioShock 2 at ours.
I'm not a big fan of BioShock 2, but that's a topic for another time.
But I was very reluctant to actually get into BioShock 2 without having played the first one, so I actually went out and bought the first one. Um, and even then, it took me a little while to actually get around to playing it. And I think the main time I played it, I had Chris round, and I think we're doing some sort of turn-taking thing. Because I was very anxious because I don't deal with horror very well, and I'm running a horror channel. Um,
Still, I wouldn't class BioShock as a horror. It's dark, it's
it's got
spooky, it's
very
got some
horrific
jump
elements.
scares.
Um,
Maybe it is a horror. Maybe I just don't class it as one.
But yeah, so we took it in turns, and we got a ridiculous amount of the way through the game, and I was so invested in it. I was really interested.
It's a great look into how if a society was kind of given free reign
Yes.
to do what they want scientifically and stuff like that, and how it goes wrong.
Oh
Definitely how
yes.
it goes wrong. Give too much power to somebody and they will fuck up. Definitely fuck up.
Yeah, it's like I was aware of the plot twist as well. Um, like just through either yourself talking to me about it, or Chris, or a
I'm
number of
sorry if I
other
spoiled
people.
Bioshock.
It's fine. I'm fairly sure I would have found out either way by accident. But I think it's different knowing the plot twist to actually experiencing.
When you're watching a game in a let's play or anything, I think, like sports, you're somehow like one part removed from it because you aren't fully engaged in it. You're not having the cognitive thoughts about what is presented in front of you because you're seeing it and hearing, usually, somebody else's opinion on it.
Yes.
So it's always good that if you're watching a game in the let's play, try playing it as well. try seeing how you yourself feel about a game.
Absolutely.
Definitely. That's another tip. If you watch any of Xander's Let's Plays, bloody play the game yourself as well.
Yeah, I mean, when I finished Amnesia, you know, as the credits were rolling, so to speak, I made a point of saying to the audience, you know, by all means, go and play it. You know, don't, you know, stop watching me for you know, for the moment. Go buy the game and actually play it and experience it for yourself. But
So, are we moving to number 2?
yes, we are indeed. We are drawing to the end of our list.
I
So go on,
sort of
tell me.
like this job I've taken on to be the number 2 guy.
Official countdown person,
Official countdown person.
like in Log Horizon, where you mess up the numbers.
just to throw you off. You were being sarky. I had to throw you off somehow. I'm going to cheat with number 2
Ooh,
because I'm going
okay.
to stick an honourable mention with my number 2.
Ooh,
But my number 2 is a little game called 80 Days.
80 days.
80
Is that
Days.
like 80 days around the world?
It's based on that, yes. It's based on the adventures of Phineas Fogg and his manservant, which at the moment I can't remember the name of. But sadly, that is really bad. I love the game. I've not played very much of it again. But the time I gave it, I was engrossed. If you've played The Binding of Isaac or any of these other rogue-like games that have come out in the recent years, it's kind of started with The Binding of Isaac. It was kind of made popular that way. It was a genre that wasn't really used, one with permadeath, or in the case of 80 Days, permanent choices. So, to summarise it, 80 Days, you follow Phineas Ferg and Phineas Fogg. Phineas Ferg, oh dear
Phineas
lord.
Ferg.
Phineas Ferg, did I watch a Disney show maybe? No, I've never seen that show. I'm sorry. Phineas Fogg and his manservant, as I said, around the world, and you choose the route. And in every city you go to, there's a little story, and you can choose that if you get involved with the story, or if you ignore the story, or if you do A, X, or Y. And it's like a rogue-like story. It's pick your own adventure. If you remember those books back in the 90s
Oh
of
yeah.
like pick your own adventure, it's that in video game form, and it is wonderful. It is a great experience, and I suggest that you look it up on Steam. Anyone, 80 Days, very good.
So is that
The
your?
honourable mention
Yeah.
I'm giving here as well, sorry, for number 2 is Undertale.
Oh, okay. That's one that I've wanted to play.
Definitely, everyone will agree is a great game. I haven't played much of it again. I feel like I'm going to say that a lot. I haven't played much of the game. Your number 2 for Xander. Come on.
Number 2 for me. I'm gonna do a slight copy of yourself and throw in an honourable mention as well.
Oh, cheeky.
But my number 2, I'm going to have to say is going to be World of Warcraft.
Okay.
I
So
will
we've gone from
explain.
2007 now to 2005. A game released in 2005.
Well, yeah, but I guess with a game that is constantly updating, you know,
Some would say
it,
not for the better. Someone might be me.
yeah. But yeah, this is one that I guess I surprised myself with because I played World of Warcraft must be about five-ish years ago, and I was completely and utterly hooked on it at that point. Like I would play it every day for X amount of hours a day, and I was completely absorbed by it. And then I was very much off put by the community. I didn't like the community at all.
Which is kind of strange because you came in during Wrath of the Lich King,
I did, yeah.
which was when a lot of the community in WoW felt that the game was becoming easier
Mm,
and maybe slightly toxic, as you said, with the community.
yeah.
Because I played back in 2005 till the end of the Burning Legion.
Tom
I
shows his
finished
hipster side.
playing. Yeah, I played World of Warcraft before. It was always popular. It was never not popular. So I've got a completely different experience of World of Warcraft because back then the community was more tight-knit.
Yeah.
Definitely. People understood that you might not understand a mechanic, but because the game's been around for 10 years now, everyone expects anyone to know everything
Yeah.
about World of Warcraft. Um, I came back to play World of Warcraft with you recently. I
Yeah.
still hate Ghostcrawler, the developer who decided to ruin everything about World of Warcraft. So, yeah, I'll just be that kind of guy.
The reason it makes my number 2 is because, flash forward 5 years, when you seduced me back into it, like the seductress that you are,
Oh, I'm
um,
so sexy. Flash his picture of my face again.
which is kind of a subtle wink. Um,
Photoshopped in.
I'll just photo your face on Tinyanta.
You know what? I won't even be mad if you do that. I'll happily be Neanta.
But yeah, I think replaying it again after so many years and after it's had these new expansions come in and it's had all these big updates, I suddenly find myself kind of um, filled with like a childish awe again, but more so because I think I'm taking it more in moderation. So I'm not trying to play it every day for X amount of hours. I am, for the most part, I am kind of restricting myself to just kind of playing when you're online.
I think nowadays, and back in the day, World of Warcraft was definitely a game you wanted to play with friends. I was in a guild back in the day. I had online friends. I'm gonna say that I had friends, guys. Trust me, I have friends.
I have
Um,
friends.
I have friends. Nowadays, I don't like playing MMOs with people I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know what there's just been a change in the internet community, especially in MMOs, that has made me think, these people are a bit, you know, just a bit, we're going to number one.
Well, I was just going to throw in my honourable mention before we did
Oh,
that. Uh,
I'm
which,
jumping the gun. Honourable mention.
I would say my honourable mention would be Civilization Beyond Earth.
Ooh. Ooh, because I I actually don't like this game. Okay,
No?
we've got some tension now because we've been agreeing too much. I don't actually like Civilization Beyond Earth.
I'll
But
go
you
on.
no, you go first. We'll get the good sides first.
Alright, I'll do the pros first before you rip it apart. Um,
I'm probably not going to rip it apart, but
I mean, the reason it's an honourable mention is obviously that there are obviously games that I've enjoyed more, but also games that I've actually managed to get the hang of more. I'm at this point where I only have like the vaguest understanding of what the hell I'm doing in a game, but I love the flexibility of play. Like I like being able to decide, you know what, I'm not a particularly offensive person, so I might go for a more political route and try and go for um, a cultural victory perhaps.
the issue that I have with Civilization Earth is it lacks content. And this always happens with Civilization games. Because I will always sit down and think, why play Beyond Earth when I can play Civilization 5? Which I would say is probably more content now that Brave New World is out. It's been out
Mm,
for years.
it has,
But
yeah.
now that that came out, that game's great. They've got that game pretty much how that game should be,
Yeah, they nailed
mechanically
that.
and everything. And then they make Beyond Earth, and it's like, I like the idea of going to space. It sounds great, but it's just lacking. Definitely lacking, in my opinion. And
Okay.
I don't like the system so much. There's not enough variety. Like, at least in Civ 5, you had your building and your unique unit or unique structure or something. And you had a lot of factions. In Beyond Earth, maybe there's a difference in what your tank looks like. Maybe. Maybe this tank has a little picture of Stalin on it. Who knows? That's the difference because you're the Russian space empire
Mm,
instead of the United States of Eurasia. I don't know. Are we going to number one now? Can I do number one?
So, yes. So, Tom, what is your number one and why is it TF2?
It's not TF2.
Oh, oh, you've caught me well off guard there.
Definitely got you off guard. My number one is probably more of a thing than it is a game. It's difficult to describe. It's the beginner's guide. This was made by the
Oh, yes.
mind behind the Stanley Parable. At least one of them, I believe, was behind this. It's a game that is very difficult to describe. It's very artsy. I want to use that with quotation marks, sorry. It's very artsy. I try to avoid saying video games are art. I suppose to some extent they are art. This is definitely as arty as I've seen a game ever get. And it really makes you think.
Yeah.
It's an emotional experience. I had an emotional experience with it. It sounds like I've had a reawakening with the beginner's guide. But
Some
it
sort of
really
epiphany.
does yeah, it really hits you in the face with a wet fish and tells you, look at yourself, look at the reflection of me, look at the reflection of the narrator, look at everything that you thought was the way it was. And it's just a game that I think people need to sit down for the hour long it is and just play through it alone in a quiet place and just experience it. Just feel what you feel from the beginner's guide. It's a game that I think everyone will take something different away from. And because of that, I think it's truly the best game we saw from 2015. Even if we could call it a game, it's it's great. It's great. Also, honorable mention, let's throw Call of Duty 3 in there just to appease the people.
Really? Call of Duty 3?
No, no, not really.
Oh.
Is it like Black Ops 3 now?
Yeah,
Because
Black
Call
Ops
of
3 or
Duty
something
3 is
ridiculous.
like from 2005. Actually, no, let's just say Call of Duty 3 for the Xbox One. No, Xbox 360. What? I hate that they called it the Xbox One because I want to call the Xbox One, but I can't because it's
Yeah.
called the Xbox One. It couldn't they call it the 720 or something? Just carry on going in degrees. Beginner's
Okay.
guide. That's my
So
number one.
that was a bit surprising for me. With the amount of time that you spend on TF2, I was almost sure that that was going to be your number one choice.
I hate people on TF2. That's the issue why it's not my number one. But
Oh,
why
fair
do
enough.
people seem to not push the objective? This is like a public service announcement, okay? If you're playing heavy, please push the cart. Stand on the objective. Do something. And please, guys, don't stack a team full of snipers and spies. It doesn't work unless the other team is equally snipers and spies. And then maybe it will work, but probably not. It's an objective-based game. Stop being bum faces. Thank you.
And of course, this means very little to me because I don't play it.
It'll mean something to someone out there, maybe.
Someone out there who's listening to this right now is probably going, "Damn, I do that."
Or they're going, I feel you, man. I feel you. I understand.
Just bro fist, pump it.
Just, through the screen.
Okay, so I consider myself very surprised by that. I'm a little shocked.
I'm glad that I have come out with something that has caught you off guard.
Okay, so my number one game for this year, surprise, surprise for those who know me, it absolutely has to be Warframe.
Yeah, no, you haven't surprised me. I'm slightly disappointed.
You're disappointed,
I'm
really?
disappointed that you didn't pull like some crazy game. Like you just sit down and go, I love Super Mario 64,
I've never
and
played
just
it.
sat there and excuse me.
No, I've never played a Mario game.
Oh, New Year's resolution for me: get you to play a Mario game.
That's something that I'm definitely looking into doing this year is looking into a Mario game. But no, it's not one that I've played. But I mean this would probably surprise Chris more. I think were it not for the recent update, I think Warframe would have been either number 3 or number 2.
What did they do?
Um, or with this update, it's been a massive lore fest.
Oh, lore
Like,
nerd. I found the lore nerd. There he is.
and like it. I mean, you've played a little bit of Warframe, haven't you?
Yeah, like the level 1 content. I'm going to say to the developers of Warframe, if you are listening, you are definitely not listening. Please rework your level 1 content because it's super boring. It really is very difficult to get into that game.
I suppose also it's quite daunting because there's a lot to learn about it. So things like modding and your loadouts, etc., which Warframe does what.
I wasn't really paying attention to any of it either, which is probably my own
That
fault.
doesn't really help.
I apologize to you, Warframe developers, but yeah. Could you just add dragons to it? Then maybe I'll be more interested.
What I found is that it's one of those games where it doesn't hurt to do a little bit of reading outside of actual game time. So like, I've occasionally sat down with the wiki page open, and I've actually just been reading through a few pages of things just to kind of get more of an idea. Um, but oh my god, this recent update, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone because it was absolutely massive to the game. But there was such a massive emotional impact with the quest they introduced that it's completely changed how I look at the game.
Oh, so it's a complete like reversal of your own perception of the game.
Not really. It's not really a reversal. It's more a revelation of what is actually going down.
Ooh. The hype train. Choo
Yeah,
choo.
it is. It's with all these updates, it's a massive hype train with all this new content. But with update 18, it was huge.
I
Um,
must say I definitely did have fun swooping around the levels.
it's fun. It's
Um,
so very fun.
it definitely is fun to swoop around as this weird thing. Tenno. Are they called Tenno?
Tenno are the ones who drive the warframes.
Oh, okay. So they're not the actual gooey thingy. Bleh. It's too much thingies for me. Too much thing everywhere. Definitely.
So
Very
that's
toxic.
quite an interesting list of games then. I've been noting them down as we've been going. So your number
That's
5
good.
is
I
League of
forgot.
Legends.
League of Legends.
Dirty
Then
Bomb is
I
number
went
4.
for Dirty Bomb, The
Witcher
Witcher,
3, and then 80
80
Days
Days,
with
and
Undertale
Undertale.
as your honorable mention, not honorable mention.
Honorable mention. And The
And
Beginner's
then
Guide.
the beginner's guide. Yeah, that's a very good list. I think it definitely tops mine.
I
Um,
tried to stick within 2015. I was cheeky. He said I didn't have to at the beginning. I just decided that I wanted to.
I feel like the not released in 2015 was more for my benefit than anything.
I wanted to say Bioshock and Dishonored on my list.
And then, of course, with mine, we have what in contrast seems like a bit like a kids playlist. We got Minecraft, Dishonored, Bioshock, World of Warcraft with Civ Beyond Earth as my honorable mention, and then Warframe.
I love
That's
my list is the big boy list.
it
This is the big boy
is.
games.
Yeah, yours is kind of what the what more mature gamers will play, whereas mine is kind of like this is an A-list game that was released some years ago. I'm gonna play it now.
You would hope that my list was more mature, but I feel like League of Legends and maybe Dirty Bomb, they're all idiots. Every last one of you are idiots. I'm sorry. I'm being mean again. Sorry.
So
That's
on
how you
on
lose subscribers.
so on the subject of these games that we've played in 2015, um, what kinds of games are you looking forward to for this year?
That's a good question because I'm not 100% sure. Okay, I'm going to show away. I will choose one game, and it's definitely coming out next month. But I'm going to be showing my weeaboo side again now.
Oh boy.
Fire Emblem Fates or
Oh,
Birthright.
your love of Fire Emblem does make me squeal, so
It is the shipping simulator, and it's of 2016 this time. Awakening was 2015, and games before that, Path of Radiance, Fire Emblem, whatever they're called, I've forgotten the name now.
Such a fan.
Never mind. I obviously played them so hardcore that I have forgotten the names. I'm awful at Fire Emblem. Definitely awful at it. I'm like, just you, Frederick, kill. Um, Ike, please just clear the mission for me. I've lost everyone else. Ike, please help.
Like, please.
Please. Please. Other games that I'm looking forward to, maybe I can't really think of. I haven't really been looking. Games just tend to appear and I
Hmm.
buy them and then I play them and I love them or I hate them. So yeah, I will go with Fire Emblem Fates as one of the only ones that I've actually paid any attention to.
Okay.
What about yourself, Xander? Come on, tell the lovely audience games you want to touch.
Um, well, I think it's a bit tricky for me because there's quite a lot that I want to play, and a lot of that is down to, eventually I want to get a PS4.
I already have one. Kingdom Hearts 3!
Darn
You
you.
just reminded me. Kingdom Hearts 3. I know the story's going to suck. It's not going to suck for that. I'm stand it, but I'm just going to turn off my mind, constantly sing Mulan's Make a Man Out of You in my mind, and hope that Sora doesn't sound like a prepubescent schoolgirl. Probably will do. Ah well.
Um, I've never played one of those either, the Kingdom Hearts series. But I think for the most part, game-wise, I want to try and get on my DS a bit more. Because for the life of me, the only games that I have on my DS at the moment are Animal Crossing and Pokemon games.
Fire Emblem Fates. Birthright.
Well, you know where I'm probably going to be leading this into now, which is I've been very curious about trying out a Legend of Zelda game.
Ooh. Ooh.
Having never played one before, and having completely missed like the GameCube or the GBA versions, whatever. Um, I am determined that this year, probably within the next couple of months, I am going to buy a Zelda game, and I believe you recommended to me the Ocarina of Time.
That's probably the one most people will say. It's okay, I want to say it's the best one, but I think there's one better. And that's just because I like dark stuff. And Majora's Mask is dark and creepy and good, but it's a follow-on from Ocarina of Time.
I would say I'll
Um,
probably end up playing Majora's Mask as well because from what I gather, it is kind of spooky.
it's not spooky, it's just dark. It's really dark. The story's dark, everything's dark, everyone's upset. But definitely, I would say Ocarina of Time, I hope people agree with me, would be the best Zelda game for somebody coming into the series. I don't know if somebody would want to play A Link to the Past. Yeah, I want to say Ocarina of Time as the one that you should try first. I mean, that was the first Zelda game I played, and then I fell in love with the series. Um, it was also at a time where I couldn't be angry like everyone else was about the Wind Waker, but I really liked the Wind Waker. The Wind Waker was great, especially on the Wii U where you could take selfies next to depressed people. It was great fun.
I've seen posts of those on Tumblr and it's beautiful.
Yeah, me and Sam, I don't think you were at the flat when we were doing this. You were probably like asleep.
I did that a lot.
um, yeah, you did sleep a lot. Me and Sam, we kind of played the Wind Waker in that we kept going around taking depressed selfies with people, with Link doing silly faces. Arguably the best mechanic they've ever added.
Oh,
But I would say the best, safest bet is Ocarina of Time.
okay. I'll be sure to do that because
Although that came out in the 90s and is not something to look forward to.
oh boy.
You should pick another game that's coming out in 2016 to be excited about.
Well, I've been keeping a very close eye on horror games that are upcoming this year, and God knows I won't be able to play half of them on here because my graphics card needs updating. But um, I definitely think that Allison Road is one that I'd be interested in playing.
Ooh.
Have you heard of that one?
I have not heard of Allison Road. I
Allison
have not.
Road,
I'm sorry.
it's meant to be the spiritual successor to what Silent Hills PT was going to be.
Okay. So this is the one that Kojima is making outside of. Well, he's left Konami now. Hashtag fuck Konami. Um, he's left them now. Sorry, that was a very Jim Sterling-esque sort of
Segue, yeah.
thing. Segue. Yeah, yeah. No, I didn't get the hype from PT.
I kind of did as someone who thoroughly enjoys, I've never played Silent Hill and, you know, I'm not going to go any further into that. Lack of opportunity is probably the most part, but yeah, I think when Silent Hill PT came out, I was kind of like, okay, a lot of people said that, subsequent Silent Hill games had been fairly lackluster, and there was a lot of hype for this one, thinking this could be the game that brings Silent Hill back into a good horror game. And I was very excited by it. I didn't have a PS4 at the time, so I watched Hannah and Kim play it on Yogscast. And I absolutely loved the idea of it. I loved the look of it. And then they cancelled it.
Yeah. Thanks, Konami. You keep making your weird machines. Pachinko machines. Yeah, everyone loves machines.
But
Pachinko.
what will
Pachinko.
probably interest you is that Hideo Kojima has nothing to do with Allison Road.
Oh, so this is just another development team that's
No,
taken over?
Allison Road is a fan-made game.
Oh, that's probably why I haven't heard.
A small group of fans have taken it upon themselves to create the spiritual successor. They're now working side on with another development company just to kind of as a source of resources. But they have released kind of like a small kind of gameplay feature on it, and it looks brilliant. It feels creepy. You're constantly on edge, and the scare is real.
How much are we getting paid by them, by the way? I just want to make sure we get the split correct.
Wait,
I'll have to look into it. I'm sorry that I have nothing to say on it. That sounds a bit bummy of me, really. But yeah, I'll have to look into it. I'll have to speak with you another time about that, Xander. It's definitely now piqued my interest because I quite like Silent Hill too. So
I'd
hopefully,
definitely say have a look on YouTube for Allison Road. It's spelled a bit differently. There's like the name Allison, but with an extra L.
don't put extra L's. Now I can barely spell as it is. Don't confuse.
But yeah, I mean, give it a look. I think you might enjoy it.
Ah, I will do. I definitely will do. As will you, audience. As I command.
Directs attention towards this this wondrous thing that hopefully it will be.
Also, we're getting paid for this.
Oh my god, I wish.
Disclosure: we are not getting paid for this.
So, just to kind of tie things off, I wanted to have a look into some of the series that I have kind of in mind for this year.
Channel update section.
A bit of housekeeping, so to speak,
Ooh.
just dusting the shelves and seeing what's available. Um,
Honey Pop.
I want to try that. I really.
Which is great because it's not aimed at you.
It really isn't. And
No.
I think it's a lot of other people's reactions to it that have steered me towards that, but I think that may very well be kind of on the back bench until such a time as I feel like I can kind of bring it in.
I feel like you can play some porn on your channel.
Well, this is where I then have to very quickly learn how censorship works with my editing software.
There's a goal for you. Learn how to censor
Learn
things.
how to censor. But no, there's been a couple of ideas that I've been throwing around. One of which was to kind of create almost a weekly highlight reel for our World of Warcraft playthroughs.
Oh, subaquatic elephant force.
Yeah,
You
that
wanna
inside
actually make
joke.
that a TV show? Inside jokes are best.
um, more kind of like as we've been playing World of Warcraft, what I would intend to do, that's if I was going to go ahead with it, would be to have it set to record the entire time we play, and then just kind of really can like squash out kind of all the bum fluff. And
There's a lot of bum fluff.
there's a lot of bum fluff, and have kind of like the highlights of our sessions. So like the bits that have really just cracked us up. So examples being like when I spontaneously burst into song, or
When I read filthy fanfic to you against
I was
your
going to suggest
will.
that your fan fiction reading last night. Oh my
Uh,
god!
yeah, I don't like fan fiction, but I do like torturing people by reading it to them.
Actually, I was thinking about that time when I burst into song. I didn't really burst into song. I really was. It was just kind of under my breath, and you just happened to catch wind of what I was singing.
Don't sing around me because I'll hear you.
Oh, I think my brain just sort of. It was like my brain sort of switched off at that
You saying
point.
I need to eat more mushrooms or something?
No, no, I need
What?
to eat more beans. That
Eat
was
more
it.
beans. That was it. I was like, what? You need to what?
And I just sort of switched on when Tom just said what, and I was like,
What?
what did I just say?
I think that was my favourite part ever. Maybe you should just do a complete like let's play where you switch off your mind and just let it spew. I just
I
hit the
wouldn't want to
mic. I
reflect that on anyone.
apologise if that came through. I just hit the
That's
mic.
it's fine. It's fine. Um, yeah, I mean, another example would be when you decided to duel me
And
that one
murdered you
time.
subsequently. People who know World of Warcraft, you can't kill somebody in a duel. What can kill somebody is a small panther waiting nearby uh, to be aggroed and then kill the person. So yeah, that's how we got first
Oh,
blood in World of Warcraft.
yeah, I
To a
was on low
panther.
health after Tom beat me in a duel, and before I could heal, a tiger aggroed onto me, and I died.
Ah, the
I
life of the adventurer.
there was a solid there was a good couple of minutes where we actually just tried to work out what the fuck just happened.
I think I knew what happened. I think I was...
Oh, yeah, I mean, just moments like those that would make a highlight reel, I think would be fantastic. And I mean,
I
we never
definitely
seem to
think that's
play any more
interesting.
than like an hour or two, so it wouldn't put a massive strain on my PC. So I can just leave it to record the whole session, and then I'll just watch it back through and like just cut in like the main bits that were kind of funniest and upload this as kind of like a reel.
But what about real Let's Play, Xander? Come on, let's hear the nitty gritty. What games do you do? Done Amnesia. You're doing a Machine for Pigs.
Yep, I've
What's
gotten.
next?
Well, Machine for Pigs is in its fifth episode now. That's currently being worked on. Uh, I'm still forming an opinion on that game. Um, yeah, upcoming stuff. I'm going to be doing uh, an odd episode here or there of the Stanley Parable, as recommended by yourself.
It's a good game. It's definitely a good game.
I
I
think
love it.
I only bought it out of your recommendation. Um, but another one I actually wanted to run by you was obviously you seemed somewhat disheartened last night after I mentioned Diablo 3.
You wanted to play... Okay, story time, kiddies. Sit down. Gather around. This
Are
is
you
how a
sitting
man
comfortably?
tricked me. He he asked me, do I own Diablo 3? I own Diablo 3. I do. Diablo 3 is very bad at launch. Very, very bad. Anyway, getting confused. Confused. Hmm. He said, do you have Diablo 3? I was like, right, yeah, I'll install it. I'm ready to play whenever you are. He never asked me to play with him. He never asked me. I was so crestfallen. I was like, I installed this game just to play with you, Xander, and you've broken my heart.
Well,
And he was the last person to break my heart. I have never trusted anyone since.
oh no, don't say that. But no, this is kind of like my formally inviting you to take part in a long-term series where we shall battle the demons of Diablo and
Well, if you will
slay
have
the
me,
hundred-legged bitches.
I will I will be honoured as long as we don't slay the 100 acre. I quite like Winnie the Pooh. We're going to leave him alone.
But yeah, I mean that's one idea of a series that I was toying with today was, you know, certainly getting you involved more in the channel.
It's because I'm so charismatic. Shows picture of face again, everyone throws up. Yeah, charismatic as
You
fuck.
need to eat more channel beans.
I need to eat more channel beans.
You need to eat more channel beans.
You can tell it's late. We've kind of
Oh,
run out
breaking
of
down.
energy on air.
Slowly but surely breaking down. I mean, other games that I've got in the works at the moment, I'm going to be playing Outlast after I finish Machine for Pigs. That's one that I'm very nervous about trying. Uh, Purely because I feel like it's going to take what Amnesia did and just scale it up a bit.
Yeah, Outlast I've heard is a really good game for horror. Definitely a good game.
Yeah, and they've got the second one coming out this year as well.
Oh, there's a second one. I
Yeah,
did
they've
not know.
announced an Outlast 2. Same world, different setting, I think. So
Oh,
it's following the same idea.
fair enough. As long as it's just like a poor journalist getting beaten up, I'm happy. I'm happy with it.
And I decided that I'm going to avoid playing the Whistleblower uh, DLC on the basis of haven't quite sussed out censorship yet.
Oh, yeah, we've been on this topic. You need to figure out censorship. Maybe me and you can have a...
Yeah.
Perhaps. Maybe. I don't know.
um, I contemplated doing a bit of Warframe, but I'm at a point in the game where I'm kind of nearing the late game where I'm actually kind of picking up Prime mods, so it would be very pointless for me to start doing stuff now. Um, and obviously I'm still trying to iron out the kinks for okay, but I may as well kind of slightly announce it to our Hearthstone idea.
Yeah, the issue with this idea, I don't... Now is, I'm not very good at Hearthstone. Neither of us are very good at Hearthstone.
Well, I've never played.
Yeah, I think it could work, but I think we need to put some time into it before we do some recording on that. I'm happy
Well,
to
yeah.
try it though.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely
that's why I say I'm just kind of ironing out the kinks at the moment. When I get to a point where I feel like, okay, I know how this might work, I'll install it and we can see where it goes from there. But for the most part, that's kind of generally the happenings with the channel so far. There's lots of things coming up. I just need to focus on getting Amnesia out of the way and keep these podcasts going.
Well, for now, you can expect Amnesia, a machine for pigs. Maybe in the future you'll see a 3 playthrough with Julie and Xander, and hopefully after that, who knows? Maybe some more. Maybe we'll bring more people into Let's Plays. I say we. This isn't my channel. I'm taking control
Well,
forcefully.
I definitely want to get Emily involved a bit more. I might do some Left 4 Dead 2 with her because that's one that we seem to have no amount of no end of fun with. I was about to say no amount of fun. It's like no, there's lots of fun to be had.
Definitely Left 4 Dead 2 is a great game.
It's definitely one that I might get her on board with. Maybe yourself as well, seeing as it is multiplayer.
Yeah, I'll happily come along. Again, just if you'll have me. I don't want to get in the way.
I think one thing that I want to do with this channel is maybe look into doing live streams a bit more when I pick up an audience.
Yeah, well, definitely. Live streams are always great.
Oh
Always
yes.
great. Maybe look into Twitch a bit more.
Well, I mean, I have streamed once on Twitch, and that was just a vanilla Minecraft thing with Emily. Um, but I think once I've worked out how open broadcast software does its thing, I might look into setting up an evening stream of Civ 5
Ooh.
and maybe
Ooh.
have a group game between yourself, Chris, Emily perhaps, and my friend Josh.
We'll finally know how much of an arsehole I can be, and it will be beautiful.
Just
You'll
dominate
hate me.
everyone.
Well, yeah, probably not. I'll probably sit back and be really quiet for the entire game, and then suddenly come out with tanks when you still have horses, and everyone be like, "Oh God, what happened?"
Like, well, shit.
Oh shit! Someone went full science.
But yeah, that's just some ideas thrown around. But uh, I think that's quite a nice way to
Long
kind of.
podcast.
Yeah, that was quite long. My timer just sort of gave up and just didn't do anything.
Oh,
So I was just like, it's fine. I'll just cut out any bum fluff that we don't need. Um, well, Tom, I want to thank you for stepping in for Emily this month.
I'll thank you for letting me on and usurping Emily's position. I will take her place. I will become Emily. I will talk about Steven Universe. I've never
Cool.
watched it. I will talk about it.
Um, and of course, to the audience, I want to thank you all very much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this month, albeit long though it has been. And we may actually get to record on time next week, next month.
Hopefully, but remember, like, favorite, subscribe, help us
Absolutely.
get higher in the YouTube sphere,
Help
and
me
then maybe
towards
we'll buy
this
some nice mics.
500 subscriber count.
It's a challenge. We'll update you next podcast on how badly it's going.
So for now, I would like to thank you all for being with us, and we'll see you next month.
Yes, see you next month, hopefully. Have a great month. I hope your new year was awesome, and we'll see you, hear you, talk to you soon.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye.
Cheers.